Now to this story. Corene Conradie has devoted herself to helping the poor. It all started when she saw a woman collapse from dehydration on a busy pavement. Conradie discovered that the woman, her family and other residents of eNCA were seriously ill with diarrhea due to limited access to water at that time. Their plight galvanized her into action. She eventually left her job and joined the NGO Gift to the Givers. Now, Conradie has been voted as Daily Maverick's community champion, well, one of them. And she joins us live now from East London, where she makes her home and does her work. And we thank her so much for her time this evening. Corene, firstly, congratulations on this great honor. Now, the headline probably should read, "Swapping yellow high heels for tackies in the green Gift to the Givers t-shirt." But your story is so much deeper than that, isn't it? I got a sense of it there in the intro that this story all started for you back in 2019, I believe, in Corene. I'm assuming that's where you lived at the time. Can you take us back to the day where that switch was flicked and you realized that you couldn't just walk by this person who was obviously suffering when there were so many others that were suffering the same plight?
Well, good evening to you and a very good evening to all the viewers tonight. Correctly said, back in 2019, Corene, the town where I grew up, suffered a severe drought. And at the time, our dam was on 1%, and residents in the area were still depending on the dam water, although it was on 1%, and with dead fish scattered all over the surface of the dam. Fortunately, some families could afford clean drinking water, and unfortunately, most families could not at the time. At the time, I was a financial advisor, and on my way to work, I saw this woman collapse on the pavement just outside my office. And she was walking with a 2-liter can from the township to come and collect clean drinking water. And she was so ill and so dehydrated that I had to call an ambulance. And while she was loaded into the ambulance, she begged me and gave me her address and said, please take water. There's sick children at home. They just need water. And I went to the house, and what I saw there was absolutely heartbreaking. And it wasn't just one house. It was each and every township in Corene. And that got me into action to start the Corene water crisis.
Now, I remember as a year at eNCA, we spoke to Imtiaz Suleiman from Gift to the Givers during that time, and how they got calls from farmers, the farming community in those areas affected by that drought at the time, and that they couldn't ignore those calls and eventually had to go into those areas. And even though helping with water wasn't part of their expertise, they found a way to get those expertise on board and to dig boreholes and that kind of thing. Now, that's the story from our side. You then reached out to Gift to the Givers at that time, and that started a different chapter in your journey.
Yes, when Gift to the Givers came in the 1st of October in 2019, they came in with trucks loads of bottled water, and they've drilled 12 boreholes up to date. And I was working for 8 months. Actually, before they arrived, I already left the company where I worked, and for 8 months, I was distributing water in the community with the help from locals and from businesses with no income at the time. And when I met Dr. Suleiman and his wonderful team, he offered me the position to assist them full-time with the water in Corene, and that led to serving unconditionally in the entire Eastern Cape, where it did not just stop by water, with food parcels, with malnutrition, hunger alleviation, and also during COVID was the busiest time of my life, where we assisted several hospitals, and I've learned of disaster response and to rapidly respond to disasters.
And you know, it's always so fascinating to hear the origin story of people like yourself who have basically given up their lives to pursue the passion to help others in any way, shape or form. How has this impacted your family? I do believe you're a mother of 3 children. You uprooted the whole family. You moved to East London, where you're now the project manager for Gifted the Givers in the Eastern Cape. And let's talk of how you go into these communities and how so many of the communities now know you already. How has all of this changed your life and just your outlook going forward?
Well, you know, the Eastern Cape is not an easy province. It's a province with severe struggles and various problems. And the need is so huge in different aspects. And we always have disasters around. So my 3 daughters hardly see me. I'm hardly at home. I'm traveling almost every day. My phone is loaded with calls, my emails with assistance. Recently, we are dealing with severe and acute malnutrition where children is actually dying of hunger. And that has called me and my team to be more on the road and more in the communities working. But besides the nomination and the awards, I have to say that the work itself is very rewarding to uplift the dignity of a human being, to bring hope to someone suffering, and that is in itself a reward. So living and working and doing this work daily, it's a reward itself. And fortunately, my 3 daughters, I'm their biggest role model. They understand it. They understand when there's a disaster and I have to quickly pack my bag. In fact, it's always packed.
Sure.
So they understand when I have to tell them it's time to go now. I don't know when I'll see you, but we'll check on the phone. So fortunately, they're very understandable.
Well, I do hope that they know how proud they can actually be of their mum. Thank you so much for your time and for telling us your story. And indeed, the work that you continue to do along with your team. That's Corene Conradie, who has been voted as one of the Daily Mavericks community champions. We thank her for her time and for her commitment this afternoon.